Okay, everyone, we're going to take a look at some database information. You have to do some access in this class. There's a program called Access, and it is a database administration tool where you create databases and you manipulate them. Now, that type of tool at the level that you're actually going to be looking at it, it's kind of on the way of the 90s. It was something that was used heavily. Nowadays, Access is usually used to build a front end and run reports and things. And I know a lot of this may not be making sense right now, but the reason we do Access is because it's a way to get you introduced to database concepts, and every single one of you will use a data system. That's just the absolute truth. You will use a data system. As a matter of fact, you already are using a data system. It's called Gila Hank Online. It's our student information system, right? That's a database. But I'm going to broaden your horizon here and help you understand data systems are all over the place. And people that actually work with data systems, they make usually the most money in computers that you can make. And that's because most people, when I describe this to you and show you, uh, most of you are not going to jump and go, yeah, I'm going to go into this stuff. Most people don't. What happens is they go out and they begin to work with the system, right? So you go in anywhere and it's the student information system, customer system, patient system, right? This is where all the data is kept. And you begin to work with it and you're good at it. And then after a while, they say, you're really good at that. We'd like to send you to a training and bump your pay up, right? That's what happens. And you may even say no until they tell you that it's going to be 10,000 more a year. It is very common for people that work with data systems and data analysis to make around 200,000 a year. So it's quite a bit of money, and that's because it takes somebody who is very highly, well, you don't have to be highly organized, but you have to understand a lot of technicalities. You got to have a sharp mind. And you have to be able to explain things to people that don't understand them. And so it's a very social situation, as I think I explained in my pay thing about data systems. But yeah, they make a lot of money because of it. And honestly, a lot of times it comes, people that become office assistants because they're helping and they're taking phone calls and they always have to work with the data system. And when they show that I can really do this, it's not long, right, before they're promoted, before they're given more to do. And it's usually not hard for them. So databases, rulers of the world. We're going to take a look at how a data system, the components of a data system, we're going to just pick out those components because that's what you're doing in Access, is messing with those components of the data system. And then we'll look at a couple of data systems that are very popular that most people would not think of as data systems. All right, so what do databases do? Well, as I said, student grade databases for recording your grades. I actually don't have access to the database that has your financial information in it, right? I don't have that. Customer database, patient, and then this is an example of basically all these are called tables. They have these fields in them, all this information, and they're all linked together so that they can get the information to where they need to be at any one time. And so as you're in Access, you're actually going to deal eventually with some multiple tables and those things linked together. But let's break it down here. Sorry, I keep moving my, all right, had to fix that real quick there. So that's why there's the jump in time. Main components of a database. So you have these different data items that you want to keep track of. So the data items are, what are you keeping track of? What is the data or the data set that you need? Those are combined to make a form so that you can put in that data. Now, we break that down into a field, and a field is a single type of data. For instance, the student ID here is a field. It's one set of information. And so usually data systems are broken down as small as they can go. Notice that student ID, and then here we have forename and surname, or first name and last name, not name. We break it down as far as we can go. A key field is something that within that data identifies that person. That's why they need to know your student ID. That's why you have a number and an ID, because we need those two pieces of things. And a key field links those together. A record is the whole set of that data. So you'll see that right over here, right? This is a record right through there. That is this person's student ID, their first name, their last name, and their birth date. That's the entire record. And that's kind of, comes from the old paper system of, what's your record? That's just a form that has these pieces of data on it that they're tracking. That's a record. And then a table is a whole set of these records. And so we have these different people within this table, and that's all their records combined into that table. So if we jump back to this picture, these are, again, a bunch of tables that are all interrelated. Now, these are pretty huge. And so nearly all websites employ databases. These are two very, very big, serious websites that people use all the time. What are these little pictures showing? Amazon.com. This is IMDb. Lots of people use IMDb. You may not be aware of it, but it's the premier site for getting information about entertainment. Any movie, any series, any actor, any director, IMDb has it. And I always use IMDb as an example because IMDb stands for Internet Movie Database. And so most of the time these days, they don't know what IMDb is. They're just like, IMDb, I don't know what that stands for. I use it, but I don't know what it stands for. This was one of the first websites that was actually out there on the internet. That's why it's called Internet Movie Database. Back then, anybody that was actually on the internet would know what a database is. And so it would be really easy, really apparent for them to go, oh, I know what that is. IMDb must stand for Internet Movie Database. So I'm going to jump over here real quick just to show you, a little more up close, right? We got all sorts of stuff on Amazon that we can buy. All of this is coming out of a data system. So while somebody did design that there would be this section of information and it would be school deals not to miss, they designed where that would look, and they designed this arrow that could take you back and forth. That was the easy stuff. The other stuff was, oh, I want to take a look at this. Well, what is the price on that? Where does that take us to? Everything you see on this page, the pictures, add to cart, all of this stuff is coming from a data system, a super complex data system. As a matter of fact, Amazon's data system needed to be so complex, they made their own. And it's called Amazon Web Services, and it's got a ton of stuff as part of it. Any case, I'm trying to let you know that these common places you go, even Google is a data system. So when you search for dog food, this is querying a database, which you get to do and access. You make queries, queries the database, builds this page, and then there's the answers to the query right there. So all of this comes out of a data system. Just about everywhere you go, there's a data system. And so you really can kind of get an idea of how important they are and why people make so much money doing them. Our goal is to give you enough information through the use of Access that when you go out there someday and you're using the student system, the customer system, the car system, whatever the system is called, that you understand, oh, this is records and tables and fields all interrelated. That's what's going on behind the scenes, and it helps you figure things out. It'll help you learn the information quicker, and that's important. That's important for your job success.